This is week 3 of our Better Balance series. You'll want to have your chair, of course, a blanket or a kind of a firm, not too thick pillow about the length of your torso, and 2 tennis balls or balls that are similar in size. So this is going to be a little bit different than the other weeks in that we are going to be doing our practice primarily on the ground. And if the ground isn't available to you, if you're concerned about getting up and down off the ground, then you can always try this on bed, okay? But the theme for this week is ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in the sense of, oh, I don't know anything, or I can't learn, or any sense of unintelligence. I mean ignorance in a way that yoga people would describe beginner's mind. So what we want to do is soften our tendency to assume things, maybe even soften your tendency to assume that you can't get up and down off the ground. It's really the space between one moment and the next where we can learn new things or discover new things. So the first thing we're going to do is just stand up and notice how you feel in your body in connection with the ground. So remember, balance is all about keeping ourselves upright on this big blue spinning ball we're all desperately trying to hold on to. Okay, so my feet are about 2 fist widths apart. My knees are a little bit soft. We're just going to think about lengthening up through the crown of the head so my posture is comfortable and easy as it can be. And then take a couple breaths. And use these moments to notice how you feel connected to the earth, how your feet feel. If you've got shoes on, I encourage you to take a moment to take them off and feel your bare feet on the ground, whatever surface you're on. How do your legs feel? How do your hips feel connected to your feet? How are your shoulders sitting? Where are you holding on or bracing or trying to hold up rather than ground in? One of our favorite yoga sayings is root to rise. And then just kind of make a mental list of the sensations you felt. And now we're going to discover how to get up and down off the ground safely. You want to have your chair on a non-slip surface. So I've got mine on my yoga mat, but I'm thinking ahead. So I still also want a space where I can lay comfortably on my belly and on my back. And I want to have my props close to me so that I can get to them once I'm on the floor. I think I've got all that covered, right? So if you need to put your chair on a carpet next to your mat or something like that, just kind of plan ahead. Now, if it might be helpful to just watch these exercises and then practice them at a later time because it might be hard for you to see your device while you're on the ground. Okay, so I'm going to inhale, take a breath, exhale down into my feet. I'm going to decide which foot I would normally step up with, like up on a step. We all tend to have one foot we would do that with. And I'm going to put that foot right kind of into the side to the middle of the chair. Okay? And then I'm going to hold on to the chair, try and keep my spine nice and long, not on the back of the chair because it might wiggle. I'm going to hold the edges of the chair. And I'm going to take my other foot way, way back behind me. Little baby steps. You're going to start to load the body weight in your front leg. I've got the chair close to me so that I can use my arms as well. So inhale deeply. You want to keep the front knee right over the ankle. So if your leg's not far enough back to do that as you bend, scoot that back leg back a little bit more. So I'm pulling my low belly in. On my next exhale, I'm going to slowly and gently lower the top of my thigh to the mat. So not really on the kneecap. And I can relax that foot. And I don't have to stay here very long because you might want to pad your knees. So I bring the other knee back to meet it, and then I come to all fours. Okay, so then I can safely move my props where I can get to them. Move my chair out of the way if I need to. Safely, right? Just gently give it a little push. And then we'll come down onto our bellies. So this is how we can safely bring ourselves to the ground. You're going to want to have a blanket or kind of a narrow pillow so that it goes right under your rib cage and your head and shoulders are free. So I'm going to come to one elbow at a time. I'm always working my stomach muscles, not scrunching my shoulders, and I'm going to start to walk my knees backwards until I can bring my shoulders back towards my wrists and gently drop my rib cage and take my head down at the same time so it's not too much of a back bend. Okay, so these first exercises are going to be on prone, or we're on our belly. Remember, you're your own best teacher and you know how to practice safely and what's right for your spine. So rest your head on your hands and take a few breaths. So don't relax your legs entirely. Use about 50% effort to keep your tailbone reaching toward your heels so you're not crunching your low back. And then we're going to begin to move our arms, not moving your head, just your arms, so listen to my voice. On an inhale, just take your hands out from under your head, take them slightly to the side. Keep your head where it is. The goal is to not move the head at all, and just rest your hands down. Exhale, and bring your hands back underneath you. Exhale, and relax. So what we're going for is just noticing, not bracing, not moving the head, not looking forward, not trying to necessarily hold the head up in any particular way. Just notice the muscles that engage. When you do that again, so inhale, keep your head where it is, but take your hands out from underneath and move them to the side. And then come on back. Exhale your head in your hands and relax. So you can do these motions, make them a little bit bigger, move your hands in different places. So once again, inhaling, take your hands out from underneath you, keep your head where it is. Notice the muscles that it takes in your core, your shoulders. Maybe reach your fingertips towards your ankles, and then bring your hands back and rest. It seemed like I lifted my head a little bit there because I had to put it down to get it back on my hands. So that's just a noticing. So maybe we'll take our hands forward this time. So keep your head where it is, lift your hands, maybe take them forward in a V. Then bring them back, slide your hands back under your head, and just notice. Now in order to improve our understanding of where our body is in space, you might add head motion to that. So just briefly, I'm going to do the first thing I did. I'm just going to lift my head. I'm not going to lift my head. I'm just going to move my arms and keep my head stationary for a moment. And then I'm going to turn my head to the left. And then I'm going to turn my head to the right. Notice what you feel in your body. Come back to center. Slide your hands back under and relax your head. Take a moment to check in and see how that affected your body. Did you brace anywhere or start to get tight or hold or go back to those imbalanced movement patterns, those habits? So the rest of our practice is going to be on our backs. So to do that, we might just do one little cobra. Take your arms out to side. Again, my head is gently being held where it was, in line with my spine. I'm going to push into my elbows and just raise my shoulders up a little bit, using the upper back, noticing how that affects my body. And then I'm going to scoop my elbows underneath me as I pull my low belly in to lift my hips so I'm not hyperextending my spine. And I'm going to start to walk my elbows down the side of my blanket or pillow to bring myself to all fours. And then I'm going to put that pillow where it can support my head when I roll over onto my back. So getting onto the back safely, go from your knees and rest on one hip. So the goal is to kind of keep our spine aligned. And then we can come onto the elbow, maybe using that top hand to support us onto the shoulder. And then using your knees, lifting to roll back onto your back. And we're going to do some things on our back. So for this, you're going to need your props, your balls, and your strap. So the first thing we're going to do, hopefully I've got enough space, maybe I'll scoot myself down a little bit, so I'm remembering to be safe in the transitions. You want to take your strap wider than shoulder width, got my knees bent, my feet planted on the ground like I'm standing on them. Take my hands down by my hips. You're going to inhale, gently tug on the strap and take the arms up overhead. So you might start to feel some stretching, shouldn't be any pain. Just notice where they'll go. And then exhale and bring your hands back down by your side. Now if you have any shoulder issues, you might want to bring your hands closer together. It's going to give us less external rotation, so less of the palms turning outward. Right? You can hold them close. Inhale, take your arms up overhead again. And exhaling down. So wherever your arms feel comfortable, do that. But now we're going to add a singular focus. So I want you to find a point on the ceiling to gaze at. Maybe it's where the ceiling meets the wall. And then move your arms. Keep your gaze as your arms go up and your arms come down. Did it change your breathing any? Did you start to brace anywhere? Let's try it again. Keep that singular focus. Keep your breathing easy. Trying not to crunch, bind, hold in your body anywhere else. Arms up and over and down. Nice. And then we'll move the strap out of the way and grab hold of our balls. Now this is kind of funny. So this is going to be kind of a two-part exercise. This week we're going to do it laying on our backs. We're going to stick these balls right underneath our armpits. A little awkward. Let's see if you can get them tucked in there. So hugging the balls with our armpits. Not too much, just gently, keeping them where they are. And what does that feel like in your body? Does it make more space? You need to adjust, even them out. Just allowing that space there in your ribs. You notice anything in your hips or the back of your neck? You can even close your eyes here for a few breaths. Or rest your hands on your belly. If you can walk your elbows a little bit further away from your shoulders, making the back of the neck a little bit longer. And then exhaling, just release that. Put those balls out of the way. Now you could use these balls under other parts of your spine just to see how it feels. And you might want to try this later. You could put them in a sock so they don't roll away. So you could start them down the neck and then into the shoulders if this is a lot for you, especially if you have a forward curve in your spine. You'd want to get on a pillow or a softer surface, right? You could go all the way down the spine until you eventually got down to your lower ribs. But again, a soft surface and working very gently and being careful with your spine. So I don't recommend that if you have any structural issues with your spine. All right, okay, so our last series is going to be a series of like butterfly poses. So have your feet, about in line with your knees and your hips, and just exhaling, let your knees flop open. So try not to let your heels drop in. Keep your heels where they are. Just let the knees drop open. And inhale. Come on back up. Once again, exhale, let the knees drop open. So see what you notice in your body. Inhaling, come on back up. Now I want you to fix that. Find your focus, that one point on the ceiling, and do it again. Drop the knees open. Come on back up. And what else did you feel in connection with that? So relax your gaze or even close your eyes and listen to my voice. Now you're going to bend your elbows 90 degrees and let your hands open as far as they'll go. And then on an exhale, bring your elbows and your palms together in front of you. And then open again. Find that single focus again. And on your next exhale, bring your elbows and your hands together. And then open them up. Keep that focus. And what did you notice? And then turn your head to one side. Do it safely. Take a breath. Inhaling through center, relax. Take a moment to notice what's going on in your body. Are your feet still rooted? Then turn your head to the other side. And inhaling, come on back to center. So you can add those motions together in any kind of combination. So we'll do the head and the knees first. On an exhale, turn your head to one side, let your knees drop open. Notice what you feel. Inhale, come back to center. Noticing your vision, your vestibular system. Do you feel anything? And then exhaling, take your head and your knees to the other side. And inhaling, come on back to center. So we shouldn't assume that just because we're laying on our back and not expending a lot of energy that we're not helping our balance. These small things can really make a big difference. So you can put all the motions together. Bring your elbows together. On an exhale, open the knees, open the elbows, take your head to the side. And inhale, come on back up. And exhale, go to the other side. And inhale, come on back up, find that single focus. And then relax your arms down and take a breath. There is one more exercise I wanted to show you. So pulling your low belly and using your hands to support your thighs if you need. I want you to bring your knees right up towards your chest. And take your arms out to the side. So again, being mindful of your spine. You want to activate the oblique muscles. Now a lot of times in yoga, we will take one leg way across the body and the leg is no longer stationary in the hip socket. Today, we want to keep our knees, our hips, everything in line. We want to feel the oblique muscles firing up. Remember those important muscles that help us rotate. So on an exhale, you're just going to slowly keep everything in line. Take your knees to one side, only as far as you can without any pain. And you're going to feel those muscles start to work. Maybe you can take the opposite hand and kind of feel those muscles get strong on that top side. Come on back to center. And then go to the other side. So you might have to modify on one side, right? You feel those muscles getting strong. And then come on back to center. And go ahead and plant your knees. And take a breath. So then we're going to move ourselves safely to standing in the same way that we got down. We're going to safely roll to one side. Use that top hand to push ourselves up, seated on one hip. You don't have to stay in any of these places too long, right? Pull your low belly in, come to your knees. You can even bring your knees back onto that blanket. I'm going to do the other leg this time, just to try it. But again, you'd want to think of which leg you step up with. Usually that's going to be your stronger leg, and you're going to bring it right close to the chair on the outside of the chair leg. So I can put some body weight, even maybe my forearms on the chair. I don't want to stay here too long, right? Because it might bother your other knee. So curl those back toes under. Pull your low belly in and inhale. Just lean into the chair a little bit, load your front leg, and lift your back knee. You don't need to stay there long, and you're going to baby step your back foot in. So you've got some stability. You can get your feet nice and wide right under you, and then come to standing. So take your time, letting your blood pressure settle. So you want to do that really slowly, right? Getting the head back above the heart. And then come back to where we began. Take a couple of breaths. And compare what you feel in your body now, the way your feet are grounded into the earth, the way your hips sit over your feet, maybe the way your rib cage is sitting on your hips and your shoulders. And so remembering that it's the space between the moments where we can discover new things. So on inhale, take your arms up overhead, and exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. So try not to assume that tomorrow holds less possibility than today, because what you do today might create entirely new possibilities. So give yourself that mental pat on the back for showing up and being your best. The world is a better place with you in it. The Spirit in me, there's a Spirit in you. Be well and have a great day.